everyone, my name is Melissa Fry, author, editor, course creator, and lover of stories. Today, since it's February, we've had about a month of the new year. Now, if you're anything like me, January was absolutely crazy, and I looked at February 1st as kind of the real start of the new year. January is like a trial month, that kind of thing. So, February is a time for me to reevaluate how I did planning in January. If you've watched some of my previous videos or follow me on Instagram or anything, you've probably seen me say little snippets of how I'm learning to plan, because before January of this year, I was not a planner. I don't know that I have got it all figured out, but there are a few things that I'm learning along the way. And after planning January and seeing how it actually went, I'm trying to take those things I'm learning and apply them to February and constantly update my process to find exactly what works for me. So here are a few things that I've learned in the process that hopefully might help you. Some things they're mindset related, some things they're practical stuff. So if any of these resonate with you, or it's something you've tried or something you tried and didn't like, please let me know. Leave me a comment. All right, let's get started. Number one rule I learned in planning January and getting to the end of January and looking back at everything that happened or didn't happen was that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about giving yourself grace. And I say this as a reminder to myself because I would like it to be perfect. I would like that every little thing that I planned got done on the day that I planned it on and everything went smoothly and perfect. It doesn't work that way. For example, the end of December, like the last day, we found out that our car was dead. And so because it was going into a holiday, we let it sit, tried it again. Nope, dead. So it's definitely dead. And we need a new car. So there were a few days that we went out car shopping and I wasn't able to get to the things on my list. And I knew that this would be a problem, but I did not plan rest days or days off. As you can imagine, that could be problematic because everyone needs time off. Yes, as an entrepreneur, there's a whole, you kind of think, oh, you have to work 24/7 to make things work. No, especially not me, because part of the reason that I am an entrepreneur and working from home is so that I can take the rest days when I need them. But if I don't plan for them, then I just don't do the things on that day when I need a rest day. So February, I am learning. What I'm actually starting to do right now is I'm trying to plan 3 days a week, where one is for editing my own book, one is for writing my own book, and then one is for working on editing projects for clients. Now, if I'm under a deadline and I need to adjust things around, that's a different story. But every week, I want to have 3 days set aside for those things. Now, like I said, this is not a perfect system because those are also kind of my rest or catch-up days, which, again, not a perfect system. I'm working on that, but I also need those 4 days to check things off my list. So as I go through the month, I'll probably adjust some and see how it works. Hopefully we can get in a complete rest day, but sometimes those days are used for catch-up, and again, not ideal, but it's a lot better than the times when I said, oh, I have 1 day for writing a week and the rest of the days are jam-packed of things I need to do for my business. It does not give me enough time, and then I never write because the things that didn't get done on the writing day. You get it. All right, so that's the second thing, is to always schedule days off, days for rest, and days for writing and editing if that's where you're at in the process, but days to work on your own stuff. Now, I realize that, especially if you have a full-time job, you can't dedicate entire days for that, but you can do the same thing. You can take Monday night, maybe, is your writing night, and you don't have anything scheduled for that night. Or if you write in the morning, maybe some of you write every day, and that's amazing. I tend to be more of a batcher, I guess. So I like to just have like a clear schedule, like even if it's like 4 hours, but I like to have a set amount of time to actually really get into a project and let it flow and evolve. One thing I do is, or I did in January, is I joined the 10K Writing Challenge hosted by Mandy Lynn. Now, her Instagram handle is Mandy Lynn Writes. I'll link to the challenge in her Instagram below because she talks about it, and it's a really fun challenge to participate in. This is one that I really hope to continue and really get involved in. She does them on the weekends, so if you work full time, you're able to do it. She has a lot of writing sprints that she hosts and stuff too, or I tend to just like kind of do it on my own. I sign up for the challenge. I'll post on Instagram and keep my followers updated on where I'm at in the process. But like I said, January was super successful, so I hope to keep that going in the months that I'm available on that day. Okay, so it also, if you've heard me talk about certain things, I use the content planner. It's an amazing planner, and I've linked to it below so you can grab your copy. It's an amazing planner because it actually has really fun stickers that you can plan all your content, but it helps you focus on getting your content out. So that was primarily what I used for January to plan. And when I planned everything out, I noticed that I wasn't probably using it correctly. I was trying to find your way, and I'm learning the whole give yourself grace thing, that things don't happen overnight. I can't go from being a complete non-planner to a planner just because it's January 1st. I have to walk through that process and learn how to become a planner. And sometimes it can be discouraging if you don't see that immediate progress. But it's important to remember to give yourself that grace to allow yourself to learn a new skill and then develop it over time. So one of those things that the content planner, how I should have been using it in January and how I've been using it in February, is planning my topics first. So in January, I was kind of going back and forth, like how many emails should I send out during the month? How many blog posts should I do? And on what day? How many YouTube videos should I do? Now, if you're familiar with my YouTube channel, you saw that I did hit my goal of doing a YouTube video every Friday. So I was able to get that out, and I had a lot of fun with that. Blogging wasn't as consistent for me, although I did get one out every week. It wasn't always on the same day. So I originally started on Monday, and then Monday was clearly not the day for me because it just wasn't in my head to do it over the weekend. So then I started to do Tuesday, then it got dragged out to Wednesday. Well, I've just decided let's do it Wednesday. It allows me time to get into the week, and then I can get the blog post out. So that was something that I learned along the way, that I just have to adjust. I have to find out what my natural rhythm is and what my followers anticipate and what works for them. But I learned from January that I not only need to schedule when I'm doing everything, I actually kind of need to schedule the what. Now, this seems very simple, and for those of you who are planners, bless you. Please don't judge me on this because, again, I'm learning. I'm a little baby planner here, so it seems really obvious, but it took me a month to realize that if I don't have a topic for something, I'm just going to stare at a blank page and not know what to do. So planning out the topics was kind of where I started for February, and I said, this YouTube video I'm doing this one on this Friday, and then this next one on this next Friday. And it allowed me to plan out what those would be, and then I could plan out my blog post from that, and I knew what big launches I had during the month, and I could plan out the different emails that I want to send through the month and all of that. So definitely plan topics. And then once you get down and you sit down to either record a YouTube video or you write a blog post, or you can even do this with Instagram as well. When you sit down to do it, you know what you're going to talk about. And this is, again, so simple, but I just wasn't quite understanding it. I think part of it was because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. And so I figured, oh, I'll just deal with that when I get there. That's a beginning planner faux pas, I realize now. So I got my February all planned out. I had all the different little things in place, so I know what I'm going to talk about. Hopefully that will help me stay on track a lot easier. One thing that I am still learning, trying to get done, I have a lot of these little tasks, and I have two planners. I use the content planner, and then I have one that I use for my daily task list. And in that one, I have a list of things I do each day, or I'm supposed to do it. It's kind of my to-do list for each day. And so anything from like previous weeks that I didn't get done, I will put on this week's if I have time for it. And so that I'm constantly keeping track of the things that need to get done eventually, but there's not a specific deadline attached to it. this is what I'm learning, is that you need a deadline attached to everything. Like, even if it's not urgent, create a deadline so that it gets done. Again, I'm recording this for me so I can watch it back and tell myself you need to set a deadline for everything, because things that don't have a deadline typically will just keep getting pushed and pushed until it doesn't get done, or a deadline comes up for it and it has to be done. And then that's not always good, because then you have to rearrange things. So I'm learning this one. I hope that I will learn this better by the end of February, but putting deadlines on tasks. Now, this is the last one. I kind of started using this toward the end of January, and I wanted to see how it worked for me. And so far, it's been working really, really well. Not sure where I got it. It might have been Michael Hyatt, but the idea is that every day you have your top 3 things that need to be done. Like, these are the 3 like deal breakers, like these have to be done today. Now, for me, some of it's like, these are the things that I need to work on today. Not necessarily the deadline, like I'll drop dead if they're not done today, but these are the 3 things, my big 3 priorities for the day. So this has helped me. I actually take my task list and then I number it 1, 2, 3, and I identify the top 3 tasks of those lists that need to be done. So that helps me focus on the things that I need to know and the things that I need to work on, instead of just checking off the easiest stuff, which is a procrastinator tip. Yes, don't do that. But instead of checking off the easiest stuff or whatever I feel like doing in the moment, I know where to focus my work and my time. So it really helps making sure that those things get done. And then I've got a 4 or 5 sometimes that I can tackle if those 3 things get done. And then I have time to do more. All right, so I realized that was a lot of stuff, but I just wanted to give you an update on my planning progress, because I have learned a few things and I'm still learning, and I still will be learning. I'll probably still be like halfway through the year and still be learning. But if you struggle with planning too, I highly recommend the content planner. Like I said before, I put the link to it below so you can grab your own copy. It is completely fillable, so you don't have to worry about starting on January 1st. You can start March 1st or April 1st or March 2nd. It doesn't matter. You can start whenever you want to. So definitely pick that up. Check it out. It's a great resource. All right, I hope you learned a lot. If you have any planning tips for me, now that you kind of got into my brain a little bit and see what I struggle with, I would really appreciate it if you leave me a comment and let me know, because I'm always looking for planning tips and trying to hone my process, because everyone's process is different. Everyone works differently. So part of what I'm learning is that not one size fits all. It has to be unique to you. So I'm trying to glean what I can, figure out what works for me, and then hopefully if it's something I figure out and it works for you too, then great. And if not, that's cool too. You have to find your own way of making planning work for you. Okay, my name is Melissa Fry, author, editor, course creator, and lover of stories. And the last one, a grammar nerd. Bye!